All right, welcome back to another video. This is the second video in the shooting segment. We're gonna be starting out with how I start every shoot with the very first picture, moving through a couple of different poses and posing. We're gonna talk about what to do when you're not getting the exact picture that you want. And then we're gonna finish with the difference between putting someone in a stationary pose versus having them move through the pose, and under what circumstances it would be better to use one or the other. Let's do it. Let's get the first photo. So you can go ahead and hop up.
Okay.
And you'll come on over here and you'll put your right shoulder up against this wall, or your left shoulder, sorry, that's my bad. Gotta get the, towards the light. Okay, so we have these big, awesome, amazing windows and we're going to use them. Super soft, even light. And the first ones are not about getting sexy pictures, they are about getting flattering pictures. So the first thing that we want to do is just ease their nervousness by taking a picture and they see it, and the first thing they usually say is like, oh wow, I don't actually look that bad, or like, oh my gosh, my makeup looks amazing. Or if they say that doesn't even look like me, it's not because they don't recognize themselves. It's because, and I did this, so I did my own shoot to kind of experience what it was like. And when I kind of got that like, whoa, is that, I know it's me, it looks like me, but it doesn't look like me. And it's because the person in the picture that they see is this beautiful woman who's confident, who is all done up, and they're not worrying about what they look like, and they're in a confident pose, and they look comfortable with who they are, and all these things, which is not the same person that they see in the mirror on a regular basis when they wake up in the morning and their hair's messed up and they haven't done their makeup, or the makeup's on for the night before, whatever the scenario is. So it doesn't even look like me. Sometimes if your makeup artist isn't very good, like, it really will not look like them. But more so what they're saying is like, I almost don't recognize the confident, beautiful woman that's in this picture, because that's not how I'm used to viewing myself. Okay, let me grab my camera here. So what I'm gonna do a couple of these pictures with a couple of different poses, and then we're gonna rotate out, and you guys can snap a few. Okay, so the first couple of test shots. You guys already heard that. First couple of test shots, so you can make a goofy face if you want. It doesn't really matter. I'm just kind of checking the light in my settings. So the first thing we're gonna have you do, with your hands, we're gonna give your hands something to do, so you don't feel like I don't know what to do with my hands. Exactly. Okay, so you're gonna grab the bottom of your shirt and you're gonna be playing with this. So you're gonna put, and this gives a little bit of tension in it. It's just gonna show a little bit of emotion. And the first thing you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be peeking down.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, so just gotta switch it back on to autofocus. That's important. Okay, 2, 3. Amazing. Okay, do that. Now peeking up at me. Take that deep breath. Bring your chin up just a little bit more. 1, 2, 3. Amazing. Okay, you can smile. My goodness, she's got the whole face figured out. Okay, so genuine smiles are gonna go way past, your, okay, on this one, like, let's get a smiling shot. Always comes out fake. Okay, and then let's see our picture.
Oh, yeah, looks great.
Look at how much your eyes are popping.
Mm-hmm.
And then yours. You guys want to see?
Yeah, totally.
They really do look good already.
Nice, I love it.
At this point, their confidence is at now an all-time high. They feel like weight's lifted off their shoulders. Okay, I can do this. I don't have to worry. Is it going to look good? Because if this picture looks good without any Photoshop, then the rest must be good. So I try and show a picture in my first about 10 to 15 clicks, and then not again for not a while, but a while. All right, so why don't we switch? Jose, do you want to come in here and snap a few?
I have my 85, so I gotta see.
Yeah, that's perfect. So that'll be probably mostly a headshot.
Yeah.
Let's do this. If you want to come over a little bit this way, so because you've got the 85mm, Eric, if you want to swing back this way. So because you've got the 85 millimeter, this is a gorgeous portrait lens. I like the 50 millimeter because it is a little bit more personal, but you can still totally make it work. So that looks good.
Nice.
That looks great. Okay, so now play around with your hands. So switch them up. So bring the other one down. Exactly. So putting a little movement into it will make everything feel a little bit more natural. Once they're holding a pose and they're holding it and they're holding it and they're holding it, it starts to really, really look fake. Okay, so now you've taken 7 or 8 pictures. If you feel like you've got one, what's that?
Yeah, no, just overexposed just a tad.
Is it enough that you can't fix it in post?
I can fix it in post.
Perfect. So, so you've got some options. You want to get as close to an exposure as is possible. The closer you get, the less work there is afterwards. But, oh yeah, and just show her as well. That's fine.
Yeah, they do look good.
So, but if you can keep going, I did the shot, I was setting up strobes and I took the picture. It was this group day. And so there were like 4 photographers behind me and it was my turn. And I went in and I took the picture and I looked at the back of the screen. It was completely white. I hadn't changed my settings. And I was like, you look amazing. I just need to change one setting. All the photographers like looked at each other like, the fuck is this guy talking about? And I changed my setting and I took a picture and that's the one that I showed her. So on any of them, you know, don't feel like, ooh, whoops, I messed that up. Or I can make a joke like, oh, maybe I'll turn my camera on for this picture or something like that. But yeah, if a picture is not what you want it to look like, say it looks amazing, I want to try this, make an adjustment, and then keep shooting.
Totally.
All right, Aaron, hop in there.
All right, so I'm shooting the 50 mil,
Perfect,
just like you were.
perfect.
Okay, so these other guys, they don't really know what they're doing. They got the real photographer. Look up to me.
Okay, so we got a handful of pictures. So now the thing that we can get into that's really easy to get into is the light's really beautiful right here. We could do variations of this
Yeah.
and shoot like 1,000 photos and it would look amazing. So it's very difficult, but if you get the shot and it looks good, then you go to the next shot. You can only sell one version of this. If the hands switched, it's probably not likely that they're gonna buy a second version of this. So with anything, remember, like you're shooting for an album, you're shooting for sales. I'm not like crazy specific on, I know I've got this shot, now I need to get this variation to pair with it. I kind of shoot what I see, but as I go through, if I'm doing too much, I can sense, I'm like, I've got 30 photos of essentially this exact same thing. I know I'm only gonna show them one. Doesn't do me any good to just keep clicking, so I'll switch it up.
Video guy's got a question. So I feel like a lot of people, like, here up, we're comfortable. Face looks relaxed, not odd this, but what about the legs, right? So like with this lighting, what would you suggest?
Perfect.
Accent them.
So, so the framing depends on, let's see, what you're giving instruction to depends on the framing. So for that, I was shooting from here up. So I didn't need to give any instruction on the legs because of that. If she's here or here, the posture does matter. It'll show. That's why I say, you know, hop on your tiptoes, even if that's not in the shot, because it changes like the structure of the shape of your body. But as far as which legs going forward, those sort of things can depend on whether or not sort of everything is in it. So yeah, with that, let's go to the next. Let's talk briefly about the difference between like something that's more front lit and something that's more backlit, silhouettes, and why you would use one or the other. So this is super front lit. We've got our 3 lights and she's looking directly into it. Aaron's got his back up against the windows. So if you look outside, I don't know if you're shooting on manual, but it is like pretty overcast right now and there's no direct light coming into this. There's just super soft light coming in here. So in this case, it's really great to put your back up next to a window and it gets their eyes really bright. Their pupils are really small, so you see a lot of the color in their eyes. You get big catch lights. It's really, really fantastic. As you start to get off axis, you start to get a lot more shadows. So if you put your back directly up against the wall, perfect. Now half of your face is getting this gorgeous light and half of it is more in shadow. We can start to see your collarbones like lighting up really well. There's a little shape across your body, everything like this. So let's do this. Since this is pretty short, I'm gonna have you bring your hands up like this. And that's just gonna lift the top a little bit, and then you're gonna be kind of playing around with your hair like this. And then one of your toes is gonna go in a lot more into a point like there. Perfect. And then with your body, you can just kind of arch in a little bit like this. Perfect. So that's giving, go back the other way. So that's giving a whole lot of shape here. That looks really amazing. And then, so we're gonna start here, but then you're gonna bring your elbows towards you, and then you'll bring your hands down this way. Exactly. So that's the motion we're gonna have you do. It's not too much to think about. If you give them too much, like their face will go crazy. But this allows you to get a couple different variations of a shot. So, perfect. All right. So you're gonna be peeking down. This is probably something that you wouldn't be doing like as you're looking at somebody. So I'm just trying to create looks that are believable, that are things that might actually happen in, you know, not in an everyday. You're probably not gonna be doing this on a Sunday morning, but you know what I mean. Okay, go ahead. Deep breath. Go. Perfect. And then elbows forward. And then slide down. Keep coming. Okay, now peek up at me. Perfect. Okay, so we can see the difference here between. We'll go to this first one. Okay, Eric, you can get in here too. So this is very front lit. I just realized I can just pop these up in the video.
You want to do that?
So yeah. Okay, so you guys want to get in here real quick? So this is front lit, everything. There's almost not a shadow on here. Okay, this is going the other way. Now like look at the shape in her legs, in the outfit, in her face, everything's contoured. So that's really an example of how to make things more dramatic. And then if you want to go even to the next level of that, you shoot more into the light. So you're going to get kind of in the same pose with your back up against the wall. Perfect. And then you're going to take the leg that's closest to me. You're going to point that. Okay, so there's two different, you know, whenever you're shooting, we'll do, Eric, if you want to get on this side just so you can see the same thing that I'm talking about. So in the mirror game, you can see here if you switch your legs. So now we can see both legs. And when you straighten the front leg, it makes this look bigger, which you can make the booty look bigger, which can be amazing. But also if you switch back, so now this is slimming up this leg, and this leg looks small because it's kind of hidden as well. So depending on what your goal is for that particular picture, you know, whichever leg is going first, you could argue that, as one photographer once said, as you're shooting this way, as long as you're hiding the naughty bits, you know, everything's safe. So this is the pose that you would use if she was doing a shot without wearing underwear, something like that. And this also creates a lot of curve in the shape. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is you're gonna grab your shirt like this, and you're gonna start to roll your wrist back. Perfect. And you're gonna really arch your back. Perfect. You can see the big change in that. It's amazing. Okay, now we're gonna do your chin up a little bit, and you're gonna have your eyes closed. You're gonna take a deep breath through your mouth. Okay, so think about, okay, relax for a second. So we just did everything. So we got the toes pointed. We've got the curve in the lower back. That's for the legs. We've got this guy arching her back, thins out her stomach. This is suggesting that she's gonna take the shirt off, lifting the chin up and breathing through her mouth with her eyes closed. It's very sensual. So we've basically, every single piece, you know, we've brought attention to, and all of those different pieces are going to accentuate, plus all the light coming in this way is a little darker and bootier look. So let's go ahead and take that shot. Okay, get my exposure a little darker. 1, 2, 3, deep breath. Perfect. Okay, chin up even higher, even more than you think you should. Perfect. Okay. So that's something that I say a lot, even more than you think you should, because when you say like tilt your chin up, it can feel like that's plenty, right? Mm-hmm. It's like more than you think you should. Okay. Right? Yeah. Breathe through your mouth can sometimes be like, you know, more than you think you should. Okay. So that's a good way to direct that. So that looks really good. And then here I'll show you one more time the difference here. in the extreme kind of all. Okay, so we've had clouds come over. So normally we have good light for about another half an hour in the studio, but the clouds have come over, so you can see it's a little bit different. It's a little different character. So do we say, oh man, we don't have the sun anymore? Or do we say, well, light's a little bit different now. Now we're going to take it as we go. Okay, so go ahead, back up against that wall. And Jose, why don't you try and recreate, stop it.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. Alright,
Try
so
and-
you're gonna mirror me, alright? So you're gonna point your toes. The other side. The other mirror? Yeah, your mirror. There you go. Perfect. And then arch your back. And then you're gonna tilt your head back with your chin up. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna have you close your eyes.
And then have her do something different with her hands than she did previously.
Okay, I will. Let me go ahead and get my settings here real quick. Make sure. Alright, so I'm gonna have you with one of your hands, maybe just like either play with your hair or pull on your shirt a little bit. And then go ahead and do the same look, put your neck back. Yeah, perfect. And with your other hand, tug on your other shirt, other side of your shirt. Just see. There you go. Tilt your neck back a little bit more than you think. Nice.
That's perfect.
Perfect. Love that.
That looks really good. Okay, so other things we can do with the hands is not just the shirt, different things we can play with. Middle finger, really gentle, just on the on your leg here. It kind of gives a sense that we're kind of moving along. You can grab the bottoms and pull them up a little bit. It gives a little bit more shape in there. You can do the opposite of that, pulling it down just so you can see the hip bone. So there's a bunch of different things that you can do with the hands, bunch of different variations. Now, if you get too many of these, you know, it only does you so much good. But if you can get a few of them, then instead of somebody saying like, I only want one, you know, that one photo in an album, you know, they look really nice as a spread. So that's how you can upsell images, by having slight variations of essentially the same two different poses. Okay.
Yeah, so for me in this situation, like I probably should have kept talking to her because I still didn't get the image I wanted, and sometimes I'm like, I stop myself.
Right.
For
So
whatever reason.
so you've got options. So your two
I don't
options.
want her to feel uncomfortable.
Right. So that will come down to how you talk about it with her. So you can say like, still not getting the image I want. Just work with me here. That will be like, you know, really difficult for her. If you say that looks amazing, let me try one more thing. I think this is gonna really be amazing or something. She's up to keep going, right? So if there will be times when I'll put somebody in a pose and they can't arch their back the way that I want them to, or really for that outfit, it's not a perfect shot, or whatever, the clouds came over and so the light changed or whatever it is, I say, wow, that looked amazing. Let's go to the next, whatever it is. They may never see that picture. It may actually be a terrible picture. Maybe my camera's not focusing. Hey, let me change, I'm just gonna try that same thing with a different lens. Whatever it is, I try to, it's not lying to your client, but it's giving them as much confidence that both you know what you're doing and that they're doing a good job as possible, so that you're not burdening them. It's really taking the burden off of the client. Eric, do you have a question?
I was gonna ask, does it seem like it would make sense to me that it's a good idea to, rather than just do something, it's to start here, end here, and do that in the middle? Like you were saying, start at the hair, bring the hair down, versus just...
So whether or not we have them get into the pose and then stay, don't move, versus having them move, really depends on A, the pose, and B, the client. So some clients feel way more comfortable moving. I've had a handful where I've had music going, and they're like, it feels very awkward for me to just, you know, essentially just stand here. Can I, you know, whatever to the music? And then I'll be like, totally, why don't you like close your eyes for a sec, think about the music, and then I'll take pictures as I see them. I can only remember 2 clients in my, I don't know, 200, 250 clients that I've shot that have said that, but some people connect to that. That's not something that you would tell them not to do. But the movement helps turn off their brain that says I'm supposed to be doing something with my face. You know, some people are so stressed out and their eyes are like this as they're doing whatever pose. They're like, am I doing it right? You give them things to do so it turns that off. But from whatever angle you're shooting, there may be like the specific If the hand is, for whatever it is, you're having them reach down, this pose can be very sexy, but sometimes it can be unflattering on their stomach. So where their elbow is very specifically can hide something. So it really depends on the pose. Something like taking off a shirt almost always has to be done. Like they have to take off the shirt in order for it to look natural. Otherwise, it'll look like they're just giving themselves an awkward hug.